Hi everyone, welcome to Disruption Learning, and this is the second video on understanding profit and loss by disruption learning. And today's video is going to be based on a concept called margin, which is another important concept to learn, but isn't really used much in aptitude exams. So anyways, we're going to learn this, and here we go. Now, in the last video, I told you that profit is always calculated by taking CP as a base, right? Now, margin is actually when you calculate profit by taking SP as a base. So what profit, the relation between profit and CP is same as that between margin and SP. Whenever you calculate profit on SP, right? It is called margin. Now let's take an example. Let's say the CP is 500, right? Profit is 50 and SP is 550. As simple as that. Now what is going to be profit percentage? 50 by 500 into 100, that is 10%. But the margin percentage is going to be 50 divided by 550, which is the SP, into 100, and would turn out to be something around 9%. So as simple, as basic as that, margin is simply profit on sale price. Very simple, very plain. You do not need to bother much about. Now one more thing here is that we do not deal with anything called negative margin, right? Margin is always there when there is profit. Right? If there is loss, you can call it loss on CP, but margin is always positive. Margin is the case when there is profit. Okay. Now, also one important thing to learn is that if you have only the profit number with you, you can directly calculate the margin. Right? Now, let me give you an example here. Let's say you have a transaction where you know that the profit percentage is 20%. Right? You don't know CP, you don't know SP, but you want to know the margin percentage. How would you do that? Now let us assume that CP is 100 rupees. Okay. So profit is 20, 20% is 20. So what would be the margin? So let's take 20 as the profit. Now CP is 100, profit is 20. So SP is going to be 120, right? So the margin percentage would be 20 by 120 into 100. Is 16 point something percent, right? It would turn out to be 16.67%. Now, even in the same transaction, where profit is 20% and margin is not known, I can take the CP as 5,002, right? It is independent. If you have profit percentage and if you want to calculate margin percentage, it is independent of what CP or what SP you have, right? So if CP is 5,000, profit is 20%, which is 1,000, right? So SP would be 6,000, and again your margin percentage would be 1,000 by 6,000 into 100, which is again 16.67%, right? I hope that is clear to everyone. Now we also have a shortcut for that, right? Let me tell you that in the next slide. So the shortcut is that when you are given a certain margin percentage or a certain profit percentage, you can easily calculate the other thing, right? If you have margin percentage, there is a very simple shortcut to calculate profit percentage. If you have profit percentage, you can simply calculate margin percentage without assuming any SP or any CP. Now, let me give you an example. So let's say the profit percentage that you have is 20%. Okay. We know that 20% is 1 by 5, right? I hope everyone knows that. So margin percentage would be simply 1 by 5 plus 1, right? Which is 1 by 6, 16.67%. And we saw that in the last slide too, right? 20% turned to 16.67%. Now you just need to add the numerator in the denominator. Okay. Now let's take one more example. So if profit percentage is 40%, okay, it is 2 by 5, right? So margin percentage would be simply 2 by 5 plus 2, which is 2 by 7, and turns out to be 28%, somewhere around 28%. Now, what if we have the reverse of it? So let's say we have margin percentage, which is 10% now, and it is 1 by 10, we know that. So profit percentage would be the reverse of last transaction, 1 by 10 minus 1, which is 1 by 9 and 11.11%, right? Now, do we need one more example? You can take any. So if margin percentage is 20%, right? So profit percentage would be, this is 1 by 5. So profit percentage would be 1 by 5 minus 1, 1 by 4, which is 25%. Right? Now you also need to remember that it is not a function of 1, it is a function of numerator. If you want to calculate margin percentage from profit percentage, you add the numerator in the denominator, okay? And you do the reverse if in case you want to have, profit percentage from margin percentage. Now we move on to the next slide, and now we will learn, loss on CP. Now, the concept of loss with SP as a base is quite the same as what we saw in the last slide. So we'll take an example here. Now, let's assume that CP in a transaction is 500, okay, and SP is 400, okay. So loss is 100. Now, loss on CP is 100 by 500 into 100, that is 20%. Or that is 1 by 5, while loss on SP is 100 by 400 into 100, this is 25%, which is 1 by 4. So the simple way, if you want to calculate loss from SP, if you want to convert loss from CP onto loss from SP, is that you just subtract the numerator, okay. However, if you have, let's say, loss on SP, which is 10%, okay, and if you want loss from CP, you simply need to add the numerator, which would make it like this, okay. So this is the basic formula, right? I have created a summary because it sometimes gets confusing that when you need to add the numerator, when you need to subtract the numerator. So let's take a look at the summary. Okay. Now, when you have P% and you want to get M%, so you have profit percentage, but you want to get margins percentage, you just simply add the numerator in the new denominator. Okay. Now, if you have margin percentage and want to get profit percentage, you need to do the reverse. You need to subtract the numerator from the denominator. Now, in third case, if you have loss percentage on CP and want to get loss percentage on SP, you simply subtract the numerator from the denominator. Okay. And when you have loss percentage on SP and want to get loss percentage on CP, you simply add the numerator and the denominator. Now, one fundamental thing about this video is that in most of the parts, it covers shortcuts. Okay. And I don't believe shortcuts are necessary to learn a concept. Okay, shortcuts are just a faster method to solve something. Okay, if you get, if you understand all the shortcuts here, okay, it is a very good thing. If you do not get the shortcuts, you just need to understand the concept of margin, which was shown in the first slide. Even if you know that, it is enough for you. Okay, now these shortcuts are just a handy method and will need some practice. Okay, you just cannot remember them by simply watching this video. If you practice some questions and you actually use them, then you can remember them and put them to actual use. So that was it for this video. This was majorly about margin, loss on SP, and understanding some shortcuts. And in the next video, we will learn more things about profit and loss. So goodbye.